Quick question. If a pen test firm came back to your company, let's say next year, and found the same exact critical vulnerability they found this year, would that surprise you? Because it shouldn't. And if you've been in the industry, more than a few years, you may already know why. We spend so much energy talking about the pen test itself, scoping it, budgeting for it, prepping for it, and almost no energy talking about what actually happens after the report lands on someone's desk. That's the part that actually determines whether that test was worth the money. And today, I want to walk you through where that value quietly disappears and what I would do differently if I were running your program. Here's the thing no one says out loud. The report is the easy part. Firms have gotten really good at this. Clean write-ups, CVSS scores, proof of concept screenshots, an executive summary a board member can actually read. You pay for a professional document and you get one. But a report is a snapshot. It's not a fix. And the gap between we know about this and this is actually closed, that's where the real cost lives, not the invoice. What happens after? I had a client a few years back, a mid-sized fintech firm, good security team. The pen test flagged an exposed admin endpoint. Engineering closed it out in about a week. Everyone moves on. 8 months later, different pen test, different firm even, same endpoint, wide open again. Turned out a rollback during an incident that had nothing to do with security quietly reverted the fix. And because no one had it on a retest schedule, it just sat there live for months. No one did anything wrong in the moment. That's what got me. It wasn't negligence, it was just the absence of a process to catch it. So what actually happens to a finding after it's delivered? Usually triage. Critical and high findings get assigned to someone, good. But medium and low findings, those tend to get quietly filled under accepted risk. And I want to push on that phrase for a second because half the time no one's actually had the conversation about what that risk means. It's not really accepted, it's just deprioritized. And everyone agreed not to talk about it. Here's the bigger issue though. Ownership. A finding says misconfigured S3 bucket or outdated library in the customer portal. Okay, whose job is that? Security found it. Security doesn't own the infrastructure and security doesn't own the code base. So it lands in some team's queue and a team that's already 3 sprints behind on their own roadmap. And guess what loses every single time when a security finding goes up against a feature deadline? It's not that engineers don't care about security. It's that nothing about the org structure makes remediation anyone's actual job. And this is the one that gets me. A finding gets marked resolved because somebody made a change. Great, does anyone retest it? Usually not. 6 months later, there's a deployment. A config gets rolled back, a patch gets reverted, and the same exact vulnerability is sitting right back where it was. Except now no one's looking for it because on paper it's already closed. That right there, the finding that returns after being marked closed, that's the single clearest sign your remediation process, not your testing vendor, is broken. Here's what I'd actually recommend instead. And this is the part that most companies skip entirely. Remediation planning needs to start before the test, not after the report shows up. Assign owners in advance, before findings even exist, so nothing lands in a queue with no one's name on it. Put real SLAs on severities and actually track them the same way you track uptime and retest. Don't take the engineer says it's fixed as evidence. Verify it independently every single time. And if I were grading a security program, I honestly wouldn't look at this year's pen test report at all. I'd ask for last year's and count how many of those findings are still open. That number tells you more about the program maturity than anything in the fancy PDF you just paid for. Drop a comment. What's the oldest resolved finding sitting in your environment that you're honestly not 100% sure it's actually fixed? I want to hear it. Subscribe for more every week, and I'll see you in the next one.